Hello my dear students, how are you? Third prep. Today we are going to have a very interesting lesson, okay, which is undertitled Books and Reading, and it is from Unit 2. I hope you enjoy what we are going to have, and hold a piece of paper as usual to write down some notes, okay? So books and reading, from the early beginning I need to advise you regarding something. Reading books is very important. You know why? Because it enriches your information and it makes you familiar with other cultures. So try from time to time to practice reading, okay? And of course we have in our curriculum for this year our lovely story, which is Black Beauty. So starting from this point, try to improve your reading habit. Are you ready now? So let's start. Open your book, page 6, and let's do it together. The main theme of the unit included in this reading part, which is a conversation between Tariq and Omar, and we have other also reading text. We are going to have it, but after we study well the main vocabulary of the unit. So let's move to the main vocabulary, key vocabulary of the lesson. We will start with this word, historical stories. Historical stories. And later we will deal with the word historic and history and historian. So historical stories, what the meaning of it? It's a kind of stories which connected with the study of things from the past. Got it? So for to accentuate the meaning, let's check those examples. I like reading historical stories. I recommend you read historical stories. Good. The other word, detective stories. Detective stories. Detective stories here, it's a kind also of stories in which we discover information about crimes, okay, related to the police investigation and so on. And it's very interesting. Detective stories are my favorite. I need to finish reading this detective story to find who was the criminal or is the criminal, okay? Let's move to the other one. Title. Title. The word title, it's a noun, and it is a name of a film or a book, okay, or a piece of music or other else. The name. For example, she picked the book up and read the title, okay? Because you know, if you are going to choose a kind of book, you can read the title first, okay? It was a draft of work published under the same title, okay? Fact. Fact. Which is something is known to have happened or to exist as proof exists, okay? It's a fact. I don't know all the facts about the case. It's hard to tell fact from fiction. Do you see here we have the word fact and fiction. They are giving antonyms. Let's move to the other slide with other vocabulary. Review. Review. Review, it's a kind of report, okay, a newspaper, magazine or program that gives an opinion, okay, about a new book or film. And my advice to you is to read this review before watching a movie or reading an article or magazine. For example, I read a good review about the film before watching it, okay? Other example, I read a review of that book. Did you get it? Let's move to the other one. Antarctic. Antarctic. Okay, this is a very cold area, okay, around the South Pole, which includes Antarctica, okay, and the surroundings area. For example, the Pacific Antarctic, okay, basin occupies the vast region south of 50 degrees. There are few animals that can live in Antarctica, okay. Let's move to the other one. Pharaohs. Pharaohs. The title of the king of ancient Egypt. This we call a pharaoh. There are many tombs of the pharaohs in the Valley of the Kings. Only the pharaohs had the secret of mummification. Okay? Let's move to the other word, amount. 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 Which is a collection or mass, especially of something which cannot be counted. Good. He paid a regular amounts of money to the charity. You wouldn't believe the amount of trouble I have had with this car. Okay? Good. Let's move. Leaves. Leaves. And the word leaves here, it works as a noun. Okay? Pay attention, because we have the word leave as a verb, to leave a place, okay? But here the word leave, as it is, and its plural is leaves, it works as a green part of a plant which are joined at one end to the stem. This is the word leaves, okay? The singular from leaves, leaf, okay? Let's check some examples. The leaves on the trees have started to turn a rich copper color. Notice that the leaf of this plant has ragged edges. Okay, so the leaves, it's the part of a plant. Tremble, to shake slightly, usually because you are cold or frightened. Okay, I was trembling as I entered the room. I felt dizzy, and my legs were trembling. Okay, so trembling means shake. Frightened, it's an adjective. Feeling fear or worry. For example, she gets frightened when he shouts at her. Okay? I was frightened you would fall. Okay? So it's clear from those examples. Include means to contain something as a part of something else. Okay? The bill includes taxes and service. So the bill, it's a kind of a report, and it includes, okay? It's mentioned inside it. This dictionary includes both British and American spelling of words. Okay? So I think after all of those vocabulary, okay, and mentioning them, their pronunciation, definition, try to be ready, because I'm going to read the text later after this slide. And we are going to check the understanding while reading the text. The last slide for the vocabulary here, the word novel, a long printed story about imaginary characters and events. This is the novel, okay? So the novel is a little bit different, okay, from a story. So the novel, it's a long story. Have you read any of Jane Austen's novels? His latest novel is selling really well. Good. Inside the novel we have characters. A character is a person represented in a film or a play or a story. Okay? The characters in the book are just stereotypes. The film revolves around three main characters. Okay? So the character, it is the person, okay, who acts inside the novel or play or film or something like that. Summary, it's a short, clear description that gives the main facts or ideas about something. Actually, we can summarize, okay, what we have read. Suppose that you read a short story and then or a novel, and then someone asks you to summarize it. So the description you write, it is called summary. He gives us a short summary of the meeting. Our teacher asked us to write a summary of the story. Adventure, an unusual, exciting, and possibly dangerous activity, such as a journey or experience. Okay? She had some exciting adventures in Egypt. We got lost on the metro, and it was quite an adventure, as you see, because if you got lost inside the metro, trust me, it's an adventure. Okay, now the reading part. Before the reading part, I need to ask you some questions like, when and where do you read? Okay, it's up to you. When do you read? So I can read in my free time or something like that. Where do you read? I can read in the library, I can read in my room, and so on. Here, the conversation in between Tariq and Omar. Okay, let's listen to them. I'm going to read it for you. Tariq, I have some time before my next lesson. Let's choose a book to read. Omar, there are lots of historical stories here, but there are few detective stories. Tariq, that's because detective stories are more popular, aren't they? People like trying to solve the problems before the detective. People have less interest in historical stories. Omar, detective stories are too long. I have little time to read this year because I have more schoolwork. So I want a book with fewer pages than a detective story. Tony, this book has the fewest number of pages, and I'll take you to the least amount, okay, of time to read. Omar, Tariq, that's about traveling, isn't it? True. This book is good. Its title is 10 Facts About the World. I read a review of that book. It said it was very good. I read it. I think that you are familiar now with the vocabulary they used while the conversation, okay, like the word historical, facts, and so on. Here we have other text, okay, to practice on our vocabulary that we have learned, okay. So let's listen to it, or I'll give you time to read it, okay, silently. The trees are the first living things that Hassan has seen in 5 days. The wind is blowing, and the leaves on the trees are trembling like him. He is tired and weak. A few hours before he arrived here, Hassan thought he was going to die. There was no food in the desert. He knew that the little water he had would not last another day. Now he knows that he will find water, because if there are trees, there must be water somewhere. But he still does not know where he is. How far is it to the nearest road where he might find help? The sun is going down quickly, and he knows it will be cold for the next 8 hours. How can he stay warm for another night in the desert? Suddenly, he sees something is carrying a light towards him. He realizes that it is a man, okay? Finally, help has arrived. He is safe. As you see, it was an end of a story, and I think it was an adventure, okay, and a thrilling story. From this text, I think we are going to just go through some language notes, and it's very important. Some differences in between words, okay, and using them. Like let's and how about. Both of them we use, okay, to express suggestion. Do you remember the word suggestion from the last unit? Okay, like when we say let's choose a book, try to use the infinitive after let's. How about choosing a book? After how about we use the gerund. As I told you that I'm going to show you the difference between, okay, the difference between historic and history and so on. History, okay, and historian. History, it's the subject itself. My favorite subject is history. Historian, he is the one who writes about history. Historic, important in history, ancient. Historical, connected with the study of things from the past. So if we need to talk about buildings or sites, use the word historic. And if you need to talk about films, stores, use the word historical. Okay? There are a lot of historical stories. I visited a lot of historic buildings. Title and address. Title, as we learn it, it is the name of the book or the name of the film and so on. Address is the place where someone lives. The title of the book is Black Beauty. My address is 30 Arab Street in Cairo. We have the word finally and final. Finally as an adverb, final is an adjective. Finally he helped me, or finally help has arrived. This is from the text. The final match will be tomorrow. The last two words, realize, okay, and recognize. Realize, it means to understand the situation, it's rational, okay? And recognize, when you see someone and you can know him well. So when I went home, I realized that I lost my money. So I didn't find my money, I realized. I didn't recognize Ali or other one because I haven't seen him for long. You can't recognize him. Now, I think you are ready, okay, to practice on what we have learned regarding the vocabulary and language notes. Okay, let's move to the practice part. I'll give you the time, okay, to test yourself, write down the answers, pause the video, and write down the answers and then justify it with me. Okay, good, let's move. Number one, he is not strong, so he is weak, the opposite of strong. After let's, we need the infinitive, which is choose. This is a, and we have the word story, so it's historical. I read about that book, and it said it was very good. So what the thing we read before watching a movie or reading a story, it is a review. The of my friend is easy to go. It's a place, no, not title, so it is address. Number five is a writing which gives your opinion about a book or a film. Okay, it's the review. The story is horrible. It makes me feel frightened. The of the book are using new hello. Here is the word title, the name of the book. Something that is unusual or exciting, and you may be in danger, so it's an adventure. Space helps the police in their work, so who can help the police? Of course, the detective. Before we go anywhere, we need to check the language functions of this unit. As I told you here, in third prep, we are going to deal with a new kind of questions, which is what you would say in the following situation. So you need to have some expressions, okay, in your mind to use them while answering the question. Here the situations or the language function deals with expressing feelings or ask someone about his feeling. This function books from your book, okay, and here some expressions you can use while express the feeling, okay, like when we say I feel or I felt, okay, and pay attention that while using the expression you have to use the right adjectives, okay. So I felt frightened, okay. It made me feel, it makes me feel according to the sense of the situation. But if you need to ask someone about his feelings, you can say, how do you feel about, okay? How do you feel about the new story or the new film, okay? So let's practice on this part. Write what you would say in each of the following situations, okay? How do you feel when you read the story, okay? What's your opinion of the film? You suggested going to the library. You have read a very exciting story, express your feeling. Your friend asks about your feeling towards yesterday's match. You want to know your friend's feeling when he read a ghost story. Do you remember my advice? When I told you that you have to act inside the situation, okay? You are like an actor, and you need to put yourself, okay, in the real situation and give the right expression. Take your time and then justify your answer with me. Here are the first one. How do you feel when you read it? It made me feel excited, okay? And then the question was in the past form, so when you express in the past form. It made me feel excited. The second one, it is an amazing film. What's your opinion? It is an amazing film, okay? About, you suggest going, what about going? Let's go, do you remember let's go? And then number four, I felt so excited. I felt so excited, okay? Your friends ask you about your feeling towards yesterday's match. You can say here, it was an exciting match. It made me feel happy. The last one here, you want to know, here you are going to ask about the feelings. How did you feel about the ghost story? Okay? So, I think now we have finished the study vocab part, okay, and the language function part. Don't forget to visit our LMS for extra exercises on what we have learned. See you next session, inshallah, and I hope you enjoyed my session. Bye.